Hey everyone, it's Deja from CrochetEverAfter.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing this crochet hook. It's by Knitter's Pride and it's called Dreamz. And it's actually a Tunisian crochet hook. So you can see down at the bottom it has this metal piece, and that's actually to attach a cord so that you can do Tunisian crochet, which is Tunisian kind of is more knit-like in its style, but you put all your loops for one row on your hook and the cord that comes off of this, and that's why this whole hook is the same size all the way down here. So as you're making your stitches, you accumulate all the loops, so you kind of pick up your loops all the way across the row and then you crochet them off one at a time back across. So it's almost more like knitting, where you keep your whole row on a needle or a hook. So I'm going to do regular crochet with this because I have some lace weight yarn and I want to see how this wood hook is going to help with slipping that can kind of occur when you're using lace weight. So I'm going to get the yarn and I'm going to do some crocheting with it, and I'll show you how it looks and let you know what I think. Okay, so I've got it out of the package and I'm not sure what kind of wood it's made from. It doesn't say on the package, but it's very smooth, it's nice and lightweight. It's an inline hook, so you can see that the hook is in line with the shaft. It's the same size, whereas like my Clover Soft Touch, the hook portion sticks out above, so you can see the difference of those two. And it has more of a deep divot there to grab the yarn. So that could, I don't work too often with inline hooks, so I'll let you know how I like the grabbing action of it with the yarn. I'm usually got these guys over here with the extended hook portion. So this is a 4mm, and they mark this as a G, and as I've said before, this is a 4mm, and different manufacturers, this is an F hook. So depending on the manufacturer, your letter may be different, so always stick with your millimeter size. So I'm going to give this a whirl with some lace weight yarn and I'll let you know how I like it. Okay, I'm working up just a little swatch in single crochet just to see how this hook feels. I don't use a lot of wooden hooks, but I really like the way that this wood grips the lace weight yarn. So if you've ever crocheted with lace weight, you know when you're using a metal shaft hook, the yarn, these are great for speedier crocheting because the yarn slides very easily on these. The wooden hook, you can feel it gripping the yarn as you make your stitch, and that really helps with lace weight because it's difficult sometimes to keep your stitches consistent. I'm not minding the inline hook either. So one benefit of this inline, in case you're wondering, and it has the rounded head, as you can see that the Clover has kind of the pointed head. Some people like the rounded head better because it doesn't split the yarn as you're crocheting, so sometimes because it's so pointy like my Clover, if I'm putting my hook into a tight stitch, I might split the plies on the yarn. So these rounded head kind of help to not do that because it's not as pointy. So far I'm really liking this hook. I'm going to work through the whole project. I'm finding a little bit of a learning curve with getting the actual hook part through the stitches. As long as I remember to turn it a certain way, it wants to get caught if I'm not pointing it perfectly, because you'll see that even though this part's not very pointy, this point is really pointy, so when I make my stitches I have to consciously remember to turn my hook straight down and point it at a good angle when I'm pulling my loop up so I don't catch any other loops as I'm pulling through. So I normally put my hook straight down when I get through the loops anyways, but if you have this type of pointy hook and you're finding that you get caught a lot, try to make sure that when you're pulling your loop up that your point is pointing towards your next stitch, so it's like at a horizontal angle, and then when you're actually pointing or when you're pulling your loop through your loops, point your hook straight down at your stitches so you'll slide through easier. The clover has more rounded tips, so I'm finding that doesn't catch as much as this. So it's a give and take, but I like the wood with the lace weight. This is a smaller hook, so I would probably only use it for maybe a lace weight, but it's also good for probably amigurumi. Cotton yarn is also very slippery, so I'm going to try this with some cotton yarn as well and see how that works, because cotton can get really slippery with metal hooks. So far so good. I'm going to try out some more yarn and I'll let you know the verdict. So I finished my project with my new crochet hook, and there are a couple of things that I forget because I use crochet hooks like my Clover Soft Touch that has, you know, a thumb rest and a grip. When I'm working my stitches with this, I know which way my hook is pointed at all times because I'm used to it pointing where my thumb rest is. So as I'm working through my stitches, I know exactly where I'm pointing. One thing to consider with a straight line crochet hook, or one that doesn't have kind of a thumb rest, so these Tunisian hooks don't have the thumb rest, is that when you're working your stitches, I sometimes would have my hook turn so that when I'm putting my work in, I'm backwards on my hook. And because it's so well in line, I would have to look at my hook and figure out which way to turn it to be able to grab my yarn. So that's one consideration to think about when you're working with these kind of hooks. You'll have to get used to keeping your hook in the same spot, or looking at your hook to find out where the point is facing at the moment. Overall, it's a really beautiful hook. I like it on the thinner weight yarns because the wood grips the yarn more than the metal. So if you have a problem with gauge, maybe if your loops are getting too loose as you work, this can help you because it'll kind of grip onto the hook because it's made of wood. It has a warmer feel, so if you enjoy that feel of like a warm crochet hook, and it's got a little bit more give because it is wood. So there's definitely benefits to this hook. I do like it. If I was making a Tunisian, this would be my go-to. So if you have any questions or if you use this hook, let us know below, and thank you for watching.